Друзі, добрий день, на зв'язку Арзу. От ми розпочинаємо нашу черговий випуск Open Mind TV. Перший з Мексики, до речі. Ось. І в гостях в мене Амір. Амір, nice to meet you. Hello.
Привіт з Мексики.
Привіт з Мексики, так. Амір мій хороший товариш, ми познайомилися приблизно 3 роки тому, like 3 years ago, yes? Approximately we met. Yeah, like this. Я тоді лише починав свій перший сайт, а в Аміра вже був. От. І я його приймав собі вдома по каучсерфінгу, ви цей сервіс знаєте. Він мені порекомендував деякі речі, і от ми зустрілися вдруге, так, фактично на зовсім іншому континенті. Давайте спробуємо з'ясувати, що робить Амір. Додам, що він є автором спільноти колекціонерів connect.com. Ось, обов'язково заходьте, подивіться, от там. Так, і полягає воно в тому, що це певний такий стартап, який вже наразі працює активно в мережі і забезпечує потреби так, колекціонерів на різну тематику, там, від стандартних монет і марок до чого? What other things do you provide people to to collect on your...
The categories or the services?
Okay, we'll think about this more. So there are like coins, tea bags, different stuff.
Coins, stamps, banknotes, bank cards, phone cards, bottle caps, beer coasters. There are currently about 30 categories on Connect, and more are added by volunteers all the time.
Cool. Тобто ви розумієте, що, до речі, у нас тут англійською мовою інтерв'ю. Тобто, за рахунок того, що Амір організував сервіс по колекціонуванню, так, він зумів організувати певну тусовку навколо цього всього. От, на чому робить, звичайно, що бізнес, і допомагає багато іншим людям, так, певним чином, не просто в кишенях або в певних альбомах, так, тримати всі свої колекційні речі, а й використовувати його чудовий сервіс. Ну, давайте тоді ближче до діла. По порядку, як воно починалося, як він розвивав, як монетизує, ну і в принципі трошки про життя і про подорожі. Alright, so we switch into English. There was a short introduction about you, about your things and so on.
Yeah, I understood everything.
Actually, Amir, I understand that you are studying Russian language at the moment.
Yeah. Чуть-чуть. Я могу говорить чуть-чуть по-русски.
How many languages do you speak in general?
No, properly I speak only 3, but I know bits and pieces of like 10 or 15 more. Like some Mandarin, Chinese, Russian, German, Italian, Portuguese. But fluently only Spanish, Hebrew, and English.
So like languages and like this studying like new like things is only your passion, or maybe you are like driven by something else? Not just languages.
I like it. I think a language is a key to a culture. Once you know a language, you can talk to people, you can understand what they really want to say, because when they use a language that is not their native language, many times they change what they're saying, they're changing all their message. So for me, it's very interesting to travel around the world to connect with local people, and language is a part of that. So I find it it's a lot of fun. You learn new words, you learn new ways to say things with just slight nuances. Like nuances might exist in one language, not in the other. So yeah, it's one of my passions.
Pretty cool, yeah. Does it mean that another passion that you had was collecting different weird stuff, and that's why you made this Connect online business? Or like, what's the story of it? Like, how did it arise from your passion, or like there was another thing?
Well, there was another thing. It actually, the story of Connect is an interesting one. It started with my brother and my father. My father was a phone card collector, and my second brother was, he likes people to use the internet more. So what he did, he made a website for phone card collectors, so my father would use the internet more. And on this website, he allowed phone card collectors to say they have this phone card and the other one, and exchange with each other. When I came back from 2.5 years of backpacking around the world, I wanted to start some business to enable me to stay independent for the rest of my life. And I was playing a bit with this. I was seeing if I could get good feedback from the community. And there were some wonderful people that have helped me, most specifically a guy named Vadim Kulimenko. And I just got so much great feedback from the community that I took it to the next level, which means, well, phone card collectors are great, but there are not that many people who collect phone cards. So I started with the more popular categories, and more it became like a communal effort, like on Wikipedia, where some people are helping to create the whole thing, and everyone else can use it and enjoy it later.
So basically, like, first of all, your father was collecting phone cards, then your brother created a service for him just to use it online, and you made a step further. So you made like spread the thing around.
Yes.
Pretty cool. Like, and when did you start it?
Well, it was 2007. I came back from 2.5 years of traveling. I was 1 year in South America, another year and a half in Asia, and I came back because really good friends of mine were getting married. Then I was trying to play to see if it can actually work, if something can happen. And it does take time. It takes time to build a business. My incomes in the first months were not more than a few pitas with falafels in Israel. So
It's not bad for a first month.
well, you can't live off a few pitas with falafel. You need at least 2 for a day. But anyways, yeah, it took time. Businesses often take more time than what you initially think they will take. You think, oh, this is great, like in half a year something's going to happen, and in 2 years I'm going to have like a very profitable business. No, things take time. They are much slower, and you need a lot more patience and dedication than what you would initially think.
What are the main actions and tools that you used, that you undertook in order to multiply, in order to develop Connect?
Well, I've been programming since I was 8 years old, so for me the programming part was, I never used PHP before, which is the language I'm using now, and I've learned it as I went. A lot of things I just learned as I go. To have a website can be something very simple that someone may have. A website can be, someone have a simple blog with a few pages, or someone can have a blog that attracts hundreds of thousands of people, or someone can have, Facebook is a website and it's very, very complex. So I learned as I went. I was playing with different things. I was trying, for example, Google Ads to see if that can bring in traffic. I was trying different services. I was talking to the community, trying to see what people want, what would make them more passionate about Connect. It was very important for me from the beginning to groom the community of volunteers, because without the volunteers, Connect would have been nothing. They are creating the centralized catalogs. They are improving it. They are translating Connect to 62 languages. So, okay. Including Ukrainian.
Actually, there is like a version of Connect in Ukrainian language. I found a few grammar mistakes, but anyway.
You should tell our volunteer translator to fix them right away.
Sure. So you started this by your own, yeah? Then usually generate content, like build it up. But the basic was your programming skills, like as I understand. Does it mean that the person who is not a programmer cannot build a profitable online business?
Well, you can build a profitable online business, but probably not a business that is technical in its nature. I think some people have ideas and they think, I'll go to a company that will build the software behind it, they'll build my website. If this is your core business, if a website is your core business, not just means to an end, I don't think you can do it if you don't know how to do it yourself. Okay, you cannot have your core business done by someone else. Mm-hmm. If your website, for example, is more like your business card and you're selling different services, then you don't need to be very savvy about creating websites. Then it's enough for you to just build something and later ask other people to maintain it. But as it's the core, yes, you definitely would need to know. There are so many things that I didn't know before I started, and I was just learning as I was going, and there's still always more to learn. This is a very, very interesting world.
Cool. So you always will find a way for improvement, and one door you open, you see much more doors where it's possible to sneak in.
Definitely.
And develop.
One thing that I do think that was, above the programming skills, creating the community, I think, was a very challenging and interesting process. Mm-hmm. Because basically now there are hundreds of volunteers, so think about it, hundreds of people give from their own time, free will, they invest in Connect to make it better and to create an atmosphere in which that would be something that people would want to do, that they'll contribute, that they'll feel a part of it. Well, this is something that for me is the most motivating, but also the part that I'm most proud of, in a sense. Because programming, definitely it wasn't the simplest thing to program, but to create this community, I'm proud of this.
To put some soul inside of it.
To put some soul, to create a sense of community, there's a difference between people visiting a website and a community being created. That connectors meet outside on collector meetings, and they're that be connecting over that, you've seen my phone cards there on Connect, or we would talk later, remember we met in this conference, so that's pretty cool. So let's take a look inside the service. What are the main features there? Yeah, that people why do they use that service?
So it will help, like, probably my readers to understand, like, which type of value should people drink in order for others to, use it.
Yeah. I think, well, for me, I would only build a business that is actually introducing something new, something that has not been that way before, something that is an innovation, you know? Because you could always build another website that does whatever someone else is doing and think you can do it better. That's one way, but I personally would prefer to do something that's totally different, that is totally innovative, that is creating something new. So Connect is very special in the sense that there are the centralized catalog, and each collector can go and say, I have this coin, I want the other coin, I have this stamp, I want that stamp. And with Connect you can automatically match what one collector wants with what another collector has. We have a feature that once you managed, you said all the things that you want and the things that you can offer others, then we can automatically tell you, hey, you're most likely to have a good trade or exchange with that collector. So maybe you'll be like, oh, I'm from Lebanon and I'll trade with this person from Ukraine, or I'm a person from Russia and I'll be trading with someone in Mexico, you know? So with this feature, it's like, these are really unique. They don't exist anywhere else in the collecting world. Today, there are other websites that have started to try and do things that are similar. They allow people to manage their personal collection, to say what they have, what they want. But this auto-matching feature, and now the best matches feature, it's still very unique. Also, offering the website from the beginning as a multiple language website was quite special. The internet mostly exists just in English, and having your website available in multiple languages opens it up to a much bigger crowd.
So you don't have to travel to all flea markets all around the world. You have like main things in one place. Pretty cool.
What else is very nice there is, as it's a sense of community, many times it's not trades. It's not like, oh, this is worth that, and I'll give you something worth about the same. It's more collectors trying to create friendships as well around the world, and like, okay, we'll trade on this thing and that thing, and they start like, a long distance kind of friendship, which is also quite cool. So it's not only people like selling and buying, it's more people like trading and also exchanging information and some friendship.
I remember myself, like maybe more than 10 years ago, I was like, for a short period of time, really into growing and collecting different type of cactuses. Funny to tell this from Mexico, but yes, and thanks to that I found other people who were like florists and interested in that case. Nice. Pretty interesting like idea. And what does it give it to you? Like, is it only like the thing that you really like to do? Does it bring you money? How do you monetize the site? Like, because it's nice to provide value, but also if it's not profitable or if it doesn't have any financial background, yes, you cannot live on pure motivation, of course.
Well, all you need is love, right? Yeah, love, air, and some money to buy food, I guess. Well, on the business model, the thing is what currently creates revenues for Connect. There's some advertising, non-intrusive advertising for eBay. So when you search for similar sales on eBay, Connect will get a cut of what eBay is making. This is not ideal, because ideally Connect should have its marketplace, and eventually will get there. It's an idea that's been thrown back and forth for a very long time, and it will be implemented hopefully this year. In addition to that, there are premium services. So this is the premium model, meaning most services are free. You never ever have to decide to become a premium member. But if you want some extra services, if you want to enjoy Connect more, then you can become a premium member. And even for that, there are two ways. You can either pay or you can help. And if you help, you get your premium membership for free. So a lot of people, they just choose to help the community. And yeah, in the sense of like, for me, it's not just about the money. It's important to create something that you think does some good to the world, and in a sense, for me, allowing people to connect with other people in other countries with something that they like, it's a hobby, so people have like good grounds to connect. We don't have wars or conflicts on Connect, there are like, well, I'm from Israel, and most collectors know it, and there are a lot of collectors from Arab countries, and this has never risen to be an issue. When people say they're from another country, it's not more like, oh, people from your country are like this. It's not like, it's more like, oh, so what coins do you have from your country? Yeah. What phone cards do you have, And I have this ones and those ones. And that's what's interesting for collectors. And whereas country is kind of important, it's also I don't know, the boundaries are becoming less and less important, because it's like, I'm interested in your country as a different place with a different culture, but the borders are becoming less and less important. People are sending everywhere in the world, people are receiving packages from everywhere in the world. So in addition to having myself a business that allows me to have the lifestyle I wanted, which is to maintain my freedom, in addition to that, I'm creating something which I believe brings a little bit of good to the world, rather than just like...
What's the lifestyle you want and you're living in the moment, if you tell that it like allows you to do it?
Freedom is the #1 thing, in a sense. For me, it was most important. I was backpacking before for like 2.5 years. I was 1 year in South America, a year and a half in Asia. And when I came back to my friends' weddings, and I was thinking, I should find a way to keep doing that and eventually retire like that. And I wanted to maintain my freedom. And maintaining your freedom means you're not in one place where you have the bills and all your obligations towards that place. It means, you know, now in Mexico, in a week I can be anywhere else on this globe. As I often say, with $2,000 in 2 days, you can be anywhere. And anywhere I am, as long, unfortunately not everywhere has internet, proper internet just yet, but almost everywhere in the world I can be there, and that's where I keep running Kolnik from, and I'll keep making it better for the collectors. So, I don't know, I like it. I like the fact that I don't depend on being in a specific place or at a specific time. I love this freedom. I love this sense of discovering new places, meeting new people everywhere in the world. I met a lot of collectors that are on Kolnik when this travel started. Like,
so you have some meetings with the participants all around? And
yeah. I had more when I started, like in Europe. Yeah, it was very interesting, because a lot of people, we're kind of working together for years already, and then I've never seen them physically, including like the most devout collectors that are helping on the website, and I never get to actually see them, but then we finally meet, and it's like, wow, okay, that's nice, you know, nice to have a person with a Kolnik profile. You know?
It's a very nice, inspiring example, guys, and I think that probably, even if you can use the idea of collecting things, yes, and set up it online, there are much more different ways to like implement your own ideas and just how to realize, yes, things that you really want using the online business, because it really helps to like continue the lifestyle everybody was like who will choose them for themselves. Okay, so like for the end, maybe you can have a few recommendations to our readers about like particularly a few steps, or like which thing is the most crucial in order to develop online business?
I think every business is different. You know, every business would have its own tricks. The thing is, try to find something that you're passionate about, and try to validate your business model as quickly as possible. Validating your business model means try to make sure you can make money out of it. Because maybe you think, oh, I got this amount of viewers, I got this amount of people, but if you're not able to eventually make money out of it, then you don't have a business. Okay? Another thing that is quite important is the issue of whether or not to take an investment. That's, I think, a very important thing to talk about. There are pros and cons. I eventually chose not to take an investment to maintain my freedom, which was one of the main reasons for me to have my business. Taking an investment does hurt your freedom. On the other hand, it can help you prove or disprove your idea much quicker and suffer less consequences if it doesn't work. So this is something to consider in a very early stage. There are so many things about creating a business, choosing whether or not to have partners. And if you choose partners, partners are what would make or break your business. You choose the wrong partners, that's it. That's never going to be a good business. You choose the right partners, it might flourish. For choosing a partner, well, it's kind of weird that I would say that, because I have not chosen a partner, but basically the partner should do something that you cannot do well, and they can do it like amazingly well. You should be completing each other, or if there are 3 partners. More than 3 partners is probably too much. But yeah, there are a lot of things to consider. I would just say, find something you're passionate and try to validate your business model. If you think you can sell these things to those people, try to sell them from day one. Maybe you don't need all your online platform to be perfect for that. Maybe it doesn't have to be ready right now, but the sale can be done now. Try and do it. On Connect, it was different. It was like, let's try to see if people would want to use it and then premium memberships. But because for me, when I started, the financial motivation was not that high. But if attaining your your financial freedom is the top motivation, try to prove it from day one that what the idea you have can actually go there.
Very nice, very beautiful interview, like an inspiring example. And as for me, for every person who's making the first step, was like right into the point 10, yeah, just to start. So okay, guys, like probably we'll finish now because you are coming back to Mazunte. We spent nice 2 days here in Puerto Escondido, in southern Mexico. Come
right on the beach. Come join us sometime. Huh?
Should do it more, yeah. And check out Connect. If you collect things your grandfather collects, try to use it and hopefully it will be beneficial to you as well. Good luck, bye bye, thanks Amir, and see you soon. Thank you.
This is the Mexican
Mexican way.
hello. Adios.
Bye.